The alien dignitaries filled the grand hall with shimmer and color, their crystalline bodies refracting the light from 1,000 candles. Princess Vela of the Solarian court stood at the center of it all, her silver gown trailing across marble floors, her expression carefully neutral as potential suitors from across the galaxy presented themselves. She'd rejected 17 already. Her mother, Queen Thessera, watched from the throne with growing impatience. Then he entered, a human. Quiet. Unremarkable in his simple dark suit among the elaborate displays of alien nobility, he didn't announce himself, didn't perform. He simply stood near the pillar at the hall's edge, hands clasped behind his back, watching everything with dark, steady eyes. "Who is that?" Vela asked her attendant. "Marcus Chen, Earth delegate. Third-tier diplomat. Background unclear." Vela couldn't explain it. Something about his stillness called to her, while others preened and postured, he observed. She crossed the hall, ignoring the Varaxian prince mid-sentence. "You're not here to court me," she said. Marcus met her eyes. "No, Your Highness." "Then why did you come?" "I was invited. It seemed impolite to refuse." She smiled, for the first time that evening. "Dance with me." "I should warn you, I'm not very good at this." He wasn't lying. His movements were precise but mechanical, like he'd learned the steps from a manual, but his hand was steady on her waist, and his attention never wavered. "You're studying everyone," she observed. "Habit. What do you see?" "The Krell ambassador is sweating despite the cool temperature. The Thessian envoy keeps touching his communication device. Your mother's personal guard shifted positions 3 times in the last 10 minutes. You notice security protocols. I notice patterns." The dance ended. Vela didn't release his hand. "Walk with me." Queen Thessara's eyes followed them as they left the hall. The gardens outside bloomed with bioluminescent flowers, casting soft blue light across stone pathways. Vela led Marcus deeper into the maze of hedges, away from the guards she knew were following at a distance. "You're not a diplomat," she said. "I have credentials that say otherwise. Credentials can be manufactured. I want the truth." For a long moment he studied her face, weighing something internal. "I can't give you that. Can't or won't." "Really? To keep you alive?" The words hung in the night air. Vela's breath caught. "There's a threat? There's always a threat. Tonight it's specific." He glanced up at the palace towers. "We should go back inside. Tell me first, the Vraxian delegation. Their ship transmitted coordinates to an unregistered vessel 3 hours ago. Your intelligence services missed it because they used a frequency that shouldn't exist. How do you know this?" "Because I used to design those frequencies." A child's scream shattered the garden's peace. Marcus moved before Vela could process the sound. He was fast, impossibly fast, his body shifting from stillness to lethal grace in a heartbeat. She ran after him through the hedges, emerging into a small courtyard where a Solarian child, no more than 8 years old, stood frozen. The boy's nurse lay unconscious on the ground. 3 figures in black surrounded the child. They wore no identifying marks, carried weapons that hummed with contained energy. "Step away from him," Marcus said. His voice was different now. Flat, cold, empty of everything except certainty. The nearest figure turned. "This doesn't concern you, human. It does now. There are 3 of us. You're unarmed." "I know." The statement carried such absolute confidence that even Vela felt the temperature drop. The attackers hesitated. Marcus took 1 step forward. "Last chance. Walk away." What happened next defied everything Vela understood about human limitations. Marcus moved like water, like shadow, like something that operated on different physical laws. The first attacker swung a blade. Marcus caught the wrist, twisted, and the weapon clattered to stone. The second fired an energy burst. Marcus was already moving, the shot passing through space he'd occupied a fraction of a second before. He closed the distance, struck twice, and the attacker dropped. The third one was smarter. Grabbed the child, pressed a blade to his throat. "Stop or he dies." Marcus froze. His eyes met the child's terrified gaze. "Put him down," Marcus said quietly. "Drop your weapon first." "I don't have a weapon. You are the weapon." The attacker's voice shook slightly. "I know what you are. I know what Earth sends when they want monsters." A thin line of blood appeared where the blade pressed. Marcus raised his hands slowly. "You're right. I am what Earth sends. So you know what happens if you hurt him." "You'll kill me anyway." "I'll let you run. You have 10 seconds head start. After that, I hunt." The attacker's grip tightened. Marcus didn't move, but something in his expression shifted, became darker. Older, like looking into an abyss that had learned to wear human skin. 5 seconds, Marcus said. The attacker released the child and ran. Marcus caught the boy as he stumbled forward, checking him for injuries with gentle hands that had been breaking bones moments before. You're safe. Go to the princess. The child ran to Vela, who gathered him close, her mind struggling to process what she'd witnessed. Marcus stood slowly. Blood dripped from his knuckles. He looked at Vela and she saw the question in his eyes, the fear of what she'd think now that she'd seen. The guards are coming, she said. We'll need a story. I'll tell them the truth. That you're an assassin? Former. Reformed. Mostly. He smiled without humor. I work protection now. It's better for my conscience. And you came here to protect me. They didn't ask what best meant. He wiped blood on his jacket. I should leave before this becomes an incident. Stay. My name is Vela, and you just saved a child's life. She touched his arm. Stay. The guards burst into the courtyard, weapons drawn. Vela stepped in front of Marcus, her royal bearing suddenly sharp as cut diamond. Stand down. This man is under my protection. The guard captain, a grizzled Solarian warrior named Kestrel, assessed the scene with experienced eyes. 2 unconscious attackers. 1 fled. A human standing in the center covered in defensive wounds. Your Highness, protocol requires get medical teams for the wounded, post guards on the child, and bring my mother. As you command. When they were alone again, Vela turned back to Marcus. You said you came to keep me alive. Why would Earth care that much? Because 16 months ago, someone tried to poison the Terran ambassador at a Solarian state dinner. Earth's intelligence traced it back to elements within the Vraxian Empire. They've been planning something bigger. Tonight was supposed to be it. An assassination. Worse. A war. Kill you, blame Earth, fracture the Alliance. He met her eyes. I volunteered to prevent that. Why you? Because I've done terrible things for good reasons. I thought maybe I could do a good thing for once. His voice softened. I didn't expect to actually like you. Queen Thessera arrived with a full security detail, her expression thunderous. She took in the scene, the unconscious attackers, the blood, and her daughter standing beside a human whose hands told a story of violence. Explain, she commanded. Marcus bowed with perfect courtly precision. Your Majesty, I am Marcus Chen, formerly of Earth's Special Activities Division. I've been operating undercover within your palace for 3 weeks, tracking a credible assassination plot against Princess Vela. The Queen's eyes narrowed. Undercover. Without informing Solarian intelligence. Earth's request for cooperation was denied. We proceeded anyway. That's an act of espionage. It's an act of friendship. There's a difference. You have no authority here? I have a moral obligation. Tonight proved I was right. Vela, you're defending this man. I am. He's lied to you. To all of us. And mine, possibly. Whatever he is, whatever he's done, he was right about the threat. Queen Thessera turned to her guard captain. Interrogate the prisoners. Find out who sent them. To Marcus, you will submit to questioning. Full disclosure of your mission parameters and intelligence. Understood, Your Majesty. And you'll stay in the palace, under guard. That's acceptable. I'm not asking. The Queen's expression softened fractionally. You saved my subject, possibly my daughter. That earns you consideration. But trust must be rebuilt from honesty, not deception. Yes, Your Majesty. As the guards escorted Marcus away, he glanced back at Vela. She saw the question in his eyes again, the uncertainty. She smiled. I'll see you at breakfast, Marcus Chen. We have much to discuss. For the first time, she saw him truly smile back. The interrogation lasted 6 hours. Marcus answered every question with clinical precision, detailing Earth's intelligence operation, his surveillance of the Vraxian delegation, the intercepted communications that had triggered his intervention. Captain Kestrel conducted the questioning with professional courtesy but absolute thoroughness. The prisoners confirmed your story, Kestrel said finally. Vraxian Black Ops, operating without official sanction but with tacit approval from hardline elements in their military command. They were after the princess and framing Earth for it. Political destabilization, Marcus said. Classic strategy. The Vraxians want to break the Saltera alliance before it fully forms. And Earth sent you alone to prevent this? I work better alone. You're an assassin. I was. Now I'm whatever needs doing. Marcus met the captain's eyes. I don't expect forgiveness for what I've been, but I'd do tonight again without hesitation. Kestrel leaned back, studying him. You love her. I've known her one evening. I've been protecting royalty for 30 years. I know what devotion looks like. Kestrel's expression softened. And I know what it costs when someone like you tries to become something better. She deserves better than what I am. Continue. They released Marcus as dawn painted the sky in shades of gold and violet. He found Vela waiting in the garden where they'd first spoken, sitting on a stone bench among the fading bioluminescent flowers. You didn't sleep, he observed. Neither did you. He sat beside her, careful to maintain respectful distance. Your mother's right to be angry. I should have coordinated with Solarian intelligence. You tried. They dismissed Earth's concerns. Vela turned to face him. Tell me about your past. The real story? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. I grew up in the Shanghai integration zone. After first contact, Earth needed people who could move between worlds, understand alien psychology, operate in moral gray areas. I was good at it. Too good. He looked at his hands. I've killed 43 people. Some deserved it. Some were just in the way. I told myself it was for the greater good, for humanity's survival in a galaxy that saw us as primitives. When did you stop? When I realized I'd become the monster I was fighting against, when I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the thing looking back. He met her eyes. I resigned. Spent 2 years in therapy. Learned to be human again, mostly. Then this mission came up, and I thought maybe I could use what I am for something pure. Protecting instead of destroying. You're the symbol of it. He paused. But yes, after meeting you, it became personal. Vela reached out, took his hand. He flinched at the contact, then steadied. I'm not afraid of what you were, she said. I'm interested in what you're becoming. I'm becoming nothing useful. A relic from Earth's ugly early days in galactic society. You're becoming someone who fights for others instead of yourself. That's not nothing. She squeezed his hand gently. Stay. Not as a shadow operative or bodyguard. Stay as yourself. Help me build something worth protecting. Your mother will never approve. You saved lives tonight. Prevented a war. That matters more than protocol. Marcus wanted to believe her. He could see the future she was offering. Bright and impossible. A chance to be more than his past. To matter for reasons that didn't involve violence. Before he could answer, alarms shrieked across the palace grounds. They ran together toward the sound, Marcus automatically taking point, his body shifting into combat readiness. They found chaos in the eastern wing. Smoke poured from shattered windows. Guards shouted orders. Someone was screaming. Captain Kestrel met them at the corridor entrance, his face grim. Bombing. The Vraxian ambassador's quarters. Early reports say at least 6 dead, dozen injured. The ambassador? Marcus asked. Missing. Either killed in the blast or escaped before it triggered. This wasn't the Vraxians, Marcus said immediately. They wouldn't bomb their own delegation. Then who? Marcus's mind raced through possibilities, analyzing patterns, motives, operational signatures. Then it clicked. The third attacker. The one I let run. They never left the palace. You're saying last night was phase 1? I'm saying we're still in the attack. Marcus turned to Vela. Where would your mother be right now? Deep level, secure chamber. Vela's eyes widened. You think they're after her? I think they're after chaos. Queen dies, princess traumatized, alliance shattered. He looked at Kestrel. I need weapons clearance and access to palace schematics. Absolutely not. You're still under investigation. Captain, we don't have time for character paradises. Queen Tessara's voice cut through the argument. She strode down the corridor, her personal guard surrounding her in tight formation. Give him what he needs. Your Majesty, this human is... Who saved my daughter and a child last night. Who's been right about everything while our own intelligence failed. The Queen fixed Marcus with a hard stare. Can you stop this? I can try. Captain Kestrel will provide full support. Kestrel bowed stiffly, then gestured to his men. Get him armed. Full palace access. Marcus was fitted with light armor and weapons in minutes. He studied the palace schematics on a holographic display, his eyes tracking every corridor, every weak point, every tactical advantage. "They'll hit the power grid next," he said. "Darkness creates chaos. Then they'll strike at the council chamber during the confusion." "The council chamber has independent power," Kestrel objected, "which makes it a lighthouse in a blackout, tells them exactly where to aim." Marcus highlighted several locations on the map. "We need teams here, here, and here. Not to defend, to funnel them toward a kill zone." "You want to let them attack? I want to end this tonight. Permanently." Marcus looked at the Queen. "Your Majesty, I need authorization to operate with extreme prejudice. No arrests, no prisoners. These people have proven they'll keep coming." Queen Thessara was silent for a long moment. Vela stepped forward. "Mother, please." "He knows what he's doing. What he's asking for is authorization to execute potential subjects on my authority. That violates a dozen treaties." "They already violated those treaties by bombing your palace." Marcus's voice was steady. "I'm asking permission to be what I was trained to be. One last time. To end a threat completely." The Queen looked at her daughter, then back at Marcus. "If you do this, there's no going back. You'll have killed on Solarian soil. That creates political complications."
"I understand. You'll be marked. Controversial."
"Some will call for your arrest. I accept that, and my daughter will be associated with you. That affects her future, her credibility." Marcus glanced at Vela. She met his eyes with absolute certainty. "I accept that too," she said. The Queen exhaled slowly. "Then you have my authorization. End this threat. Permanently. It will be done." The power died exactly 43 minutes later. Emergency lights activated, casting the palace in red emergency glow. Marcus moved through the corridors like a ghost, his enhanced hearing picking up footsteps, breathing, the subtle sounds of people moving with intent to kill. He'd positioned Kestrel's teams precisely. Weak points left apparently undefended. Corridors that seemed like safe passages to the council chamber. Everything designed to draw the attackers along predetermined paths. He heard them before he saw them. 6 operatives moving with professional precision through the east corridor. They passed the first checkpoint, cleared the second, approached the third where Marcus waited in darkness. He let them get close, very close. Then he moved. The first operative died before his companions registered the threat. Marcus's blade found the gap between helmet and armor, precise and final. The second turned, weapon rising. Marcus was already inside her guard, his hand closing on her throat, applying pressure to the exact points that induced instant unconsciousness followed by death. The remaining 4 scattered, seeking cover, trying to acquire targets in the darkness. Marcus had trained for this, had become this. He was the nightmare in the dark, the impossible thing that hunted hunters. 2 more fell before they managed a shot. Energy bursts scorched walls, missing Marcus by centimeters as he flowed through space like smoke. He came up behind the 5th operative, his blade finding the soft tissue beneath the ribs, angling up into the heart. The last one ran. Marcus pursued without hesitation, his body moving with lethal efficiency through corridors he'd memorized. The operative made it 20 meters before Marcus caught up, tackled him into a service alcove. "Who sent you?" Marcus demanded, his blade at the operative's throat. The operative laughed, blood bubbling between his teeth. "You think we're the only team? This doesn't end with us. It ends tonight. You can't kill them all." "The Raxian Empire has infinite resources. They'll keep coming until the alliance breaks." Marcus pressed the blade harder. "Then I'll keep killing until they learn. You'll become the monster again." That's what she'll see. That's what they'll all see. The words cut deeper than any blade. Marcus hesitated, seeing his reflection in the operative's faceplate. A killer. A weapon. Exactly what he tried to leave behind. "Marcus." Vela's voice echoed down the corridor. She was running toward him, Kestrel and guards behind her. The operative moved, his hand darting toward a concealed weapon. Marcus reacted on pure instinct, his blade moving in a single fluid motion. The operative slumped, dead. Vela stopped, taking in the scene. The bodies. The blood. Marcus kneeling in the center of it all, his hands red, his expression empty. "Are you hurt?" she asked quietly. "No." "How many?" Kestrel was already coordinating with his teams, securing the area, checking for additional threats. Vela knelt beside Marcus, ignoring the blood. the death surrounding them. "Look at me," she commanded gently. He did. His eyes were dark pools reflective of nothing. "You saved us again," she said. "You protected people who couldn't protect themselves. That's what I see. Not the method, the result. There would be more. That they'll keep coming. Together." She offered her hand. "Come with me. Let the guards finish this." Marcus looked at her hand like it was something foreign, something he didn't deserve. Then, slowly, he took it and stood. The sweep of the palace took 4 hours. They found 2 more teams, but Kestrel's guards captured them without Marcus's involvement. By dawn, the threat was contained. 12 dead operatives. 8 captured. All confirmed as Vraxian Black Ops. The Vraxian ambassador was found hiding in a supply closet, claiming he had fled the bombing and knew nothing of the attacks. Queen Thessera ordered him detained pending formal investigation. Marcus stood in a washroom scrubbing blood from his hands, watching it spiral down the drain. He'd done this hundreds of times before. It never got easier. The clean never felt clean. Vela found him there. She closed the door behind her, giving them privacy. "Mother wants to see you," she said. "She's prepared a statement. You'll be publicly acknowledged as a hero. Earth's representative who prevented a war. It makes me a target. You're already a target. Now you'll be a protected one." She moved closer. "Unless you want to disappear again, Earth would probably relocate you. Give you a new identity somewhere quiet. Is that what you want? I want you to choose for yourself, not out of duty or guilt or obligation." Vela touched his arm. "What do you want, Marcus?" He turned to face her, his hands still wet, his expression finally showing emotion, uncertainty, fear, hope. "I want to stay, to be someone worth your faith. But I don't know if I can. With me. Together." She smiled. "I'm not asking you to stop being what you are. I'm asking you to become more than you were." "Ha ha ha ha. I've killed people tonight. That doesn't just wash away." "No, but it can be the last time, unless there's no other choice." She took his hands in hers, unconcerned about the water, the lingering traces of violence. "I see you, Marcus Chen. All of you. The killer and the protector. The weapon and the man. And I choose you anyway." He searched her face for doubt, for fear, for the disgust he expected. Found only certainty. "Why?" he asked. "Because you fought your nature to become better. Because you risked everything for people you barely knew. Because when that child was threatened, you became the shield instead of the sword." She squeezed his hands gently. "Because you're capable of great terrible things, but you choose great good ones instead. That's the rarest kind of strength." Marcus felt something break inside him. Not violently. Gently, like ice melting after a long winter. He pulled her close, careful despite his strength, and held her like she was the only real thing in a universe of shadows. "I'll try," he whispered, "to be what you see. That's all I ask." They stood there for a long moment. 2 people from different worlds, finding something worth protecting in each other. The Queen's announcement came 3 hours later. Marcus Chen, Earth's representative, had prevented a coordinated terrorist attack targeting the Solarian royal family. He was to be awarded the Star of Solaria, the highest civilian honor, and granted permanent diplomatic status. The galactic news networks exploded. A human, a former assassin, protecting an alien princess. The romance was too perfect, the story too compelling. Within days, Marcus became the most famous human in the galaxy. He hated it, but he stood beside Vela at the ceremony wearing formal diplomatic attire, accepting the medal with quiet grace. The cameras loved him, the mysterious human with dark eyes and darker past, reformed by love and duty. Vela knew better. He wasn't reformed.
He was redirected.
Still dangerous. Still lethal, but aimed at protection instead of destruction. That night they walked the gardens again under alien stars. Guards followed at a respectful distance, giving the illusion of privacy. "The Vraxian Empire formally apologized," Vela said, "claimed the operatives were rogue elements acting without authorization, but it gives them a way to save face while backing down." She glanced at him. "You changed galactic politics in one night. I just prevented deaths. Same thing in this context." She took his arm. "Mother wants to formalize your position. Official military advisor to the throne. You'd train our forces in counter-terrorism, help modernize our intelligence services, and stay close to you. That too. She smiled. Is that acceptable? A week ago, he'd been a ghost, operating in shadows, expecting to return to Earth once the mission concluded. Now he was standing in an alien garden, wearing a medal for heroism, being offered a life he'd never imagined. It's more than acceptable, he said quietly. Months passed. Marcus adapted to his new role with the same precision he'd brought to killing. He was patient with trainees, demanding but fair, sharing techniques Earth had developed over centuries of warfare. The Solarian guards respected him, though they kept careful distance. He was still the outsider. Still the human who'd killed 6 operatives in darkness without hesitation. But Vela never wavered. She stood beside him at diplomatic functions, in strategy sessions, during the long nights when nightmares pulled him from sleep. She learned his tells, the way his jaw tightened when memories surfaced, the subtle tremor in his hands when the weight became too heavy. "Tell me about the worst one," she said one night, finding him awake on the balcony overlooking the city. "The worst what?" "The one that haunts you most." Marcus was quiet for a long time. His name was David Park, Korean-American engineer working on Mars colony integration. Intelligence said he was selling fusion tech to the Krellian hegemony. I was ordered to eliminate him before the transfer.
And I did my job. Clean.
Professional. Made it look like an accident. Marcus's hands gripped the railing. Found out 3 months later he was innocent. The real spy was his supervisor. She'd planted evidence, used David as a scapegoat while she continued selling secrets. Vela took his hand gently. "I killed an innocent man," Marcus continued. "Someone's son, someone's friend. 'Cause I followed orders without questioning, without verifying." He looked at her. "That's when I started questioning everything, when I realized I'd become the executioner in someone else's political game. You couldn't have known. I should have. I was supposed to be the best, but I was just the most efficient killer they could find." He turned to face her fully. "That's what I am, Vela, at my core. When everything else strips away, I'm the person who ended David Park's life without hesitation. You're the person who carries that weight, who let it change you, who chose to become something different." She cupped his face in her hands. David Park deserved better. But honor his memory by being better now? By teaching others to verify before acting. By making sure no one else becomes what you were. She kissed him softly. "You can't undo the past, but you can shape the future." Marcus pulled her close, anchoring himself in her certainty, her absolute faith in his ability to change. A year after the attack, the Vraxian Empire proposed a formal treaty. Recognition of Solarian-Terran alliance, trade agreements, mutual defense pacts. The hardliners had been purged from their military command. Peace, however fragile, was emerging. Queen Thessera hosted the signing ceremony in the same grand hall where Marcus had first met Vela. Representatives from dozens of species gathered to witness the moment. Earth sent a full delegation, including Marcus's former commander, who greeted him with professional courtesy and barely concealed pride. "You've done well," Commander Torres said. "Earth's grateful. I did what was necessary. You did more than that. You became the bridge between worlds, the example of what humans can be in this galaxy." Torres smiled slightly. The scary, competent, principled example, but an example nonetheless. Marcus watched Vela across the hall, speaking with ambassadors, her grace and intelligence evident in every gesture. "I found something worth being better for. I know. We all see it." Torres clapped his shoulder. "Don't screw it up." The ceremony proceeded with formal precision. Treaties were signed. Speeches were made. The galaxy took a small step back from the abyss of war. But during the celebrations, Marcus noticed something off. One of the Vraxian delegation, a junior attaché, kept glancing at Vela with too much focus. His positioning was wrong, his body language inconsistent with diplomatic protocol. Marcus moved through the crowd casually, positioning himself between the attaché and Vela. He caught Kestrel's eye, made a subtle signal. The captain nodded, began redirecting guards. The attaché noticed the movement. His hand went to his pocket. Marcus was already moving. He covered the distance in 3 strides, his hand closing on the attaché's wrist before the weapon cleared fabric. In one smooth motion, he twisted, disarmed, and pinned the Vraxian against the wall. The hall erupted in chaos. Guards swarmed. Diplomats scattered. Vela stood frozen, watching Marcus hold the struggling assassin with clinical efficiency. "Search him," Marcus commanded. They found the weapon. Biological agent designed to be dispersed through skin contact. Lethal in seconds. If the attaché had touched Vela, she'd have died before anyone could react. The Vraxian ambassador went pale. "I swear we had no knowledge of this." "This operative doesn't appear in any of our official records." "Of course not," Marcus said coldly. "Because your hardliners aren't purged. They've just adapted." He released the attaché to Kestrel's guards. "This one talks or dies. Those are the only options." The investigation revealed a splinter faction within the Vraxian Empire, still committed to destroying the Alliance through any means necessary. They'd embedded operatives in the delegation, waiting for the perfect moment. The treaty signing was delayed while security protocols were overhauled. Marcus worked with intelligence services from 6 different species implementing countermeasures, identifying potential threats, building systems to prevent future infiltration. Vela found him 3 days later in his office, surrounded by tactical displays and threat assessments. "You haven't slept," she observed. "There are 43 known operatives still at large. Sleeping seems irresponsible." She closed the door, crossed to his desk, and physically turned his chair to face her. "The galaxy will always have threats. You can't stop them all by yourself." "I can try." "No, you can do your best, then trust others to do theirs." She knelt beside his chair. "You saved me again. When will it be enough? When you're safe?" "That's the price of power, of being a symbol." She took his hands. "But I can be safer with you beside me. Not above me, not protecting me from shadows. Beside me, as an equal." "What are you asking?" "Marry me." The words hung in the air between them. Marcus's breath caught. "Vela, I'm human, yes. Former assassin, yes. Complicated, dangerous, scarred, yes." She smiled. "Also loyal, principled, brave, and capable of extraordinary change." "Those outweigh the complications." "Your mother will object. And you've protected her daughter, prevented 2 wars, and revolutionized our security services. She'll adjust." Vela's expression softened. "I'm not asking you to be perfect, Marcus. I'm asking you to be mine." With all the mess and danger and complications that involves. Marcus felt the future crystallizing before him. A life he'd never imagined. Purpose beyond violence. Belonging beyond duty. "Yes," he said simply. She kissed him, and for the first time in his adult life, Marcus Chen felt truly at peace. The wedding took place 6 months later, after diplomatic negotiations that made the treaty talks look simple. Earth's government had concerns. Solarian nobility had objections. Half the galaxy had opinions. Marcus and Vela ignored them all. The ceremony blended human and Solarian traditions, creating something new. Something that represented what they were building together. Representatives from across the galaxy attended, turning the event into a statement. Proof that different worlds, different species, different pasts could merge into something stronger. Marcus stood at the altar in formal military dress, his decorations from both Earth and Solaria catching the light. Vela approached in silver and gold, radiant, certain, powerful. Queen Thessera performed the ceremony herself. Her initial reservations evolved into genuine acceptance. She'd watched Marcus over the months, seen how he'd changed her daughter, strengthened her resolve, sharpened her judgment. "You are binding not just yourselves," the Queen said, "but your worlds, your peoples, your futures." "This is responsibility, not just romance." "We understand, Your Majesty," Marcus replied. "Do you? Because the galaxy will test you."
"We'll try to break what you're building." Sarah looked at them both.
"You'll face prejudice, political pressure, threats to your children should you have them. This won't be easy." Vela squeezed Marcus's hand. "Nothing worth having is." The Queen smiled. "Then by the authority granted by Solarian tradition and witnessed by the assembled representatives of the galactic community, I recognize this union. You are bound in purpose, in partnership, in promise." They sealed it with a kiss that was broadcast across 12 star systems. The reception lasted into the early hours. Marcus danced with his wife, still marveling at the word, at the reality he'd somehow earned. Earth's delegation surrounded him at one point, offering congratulations and thinly veiled warnings about the political implications. "You're representing all of humanity now," Ambassador Williams said. "Every action you take reflects on Earth." "I'm aware. Are you?" Because if this marriage fails, it sets back human-Solarian relations by decades. Marcus met the ambassador's eyes steadily. Then I won't fail. Later, alone on the balcony, Vela joined him. She'd changed from her ceremonial gown to something simpler, more comfortable. Regretting it already? She teased. Never. He pulled her close. Just thinking about what comes next. We raise children who understand both worlds. We prove that integration works. She leaned against him. We live, Marcus. Messily and imperfectly, but genuinely. I know. That's why I chose you. They stood together under alien stars, two people from different worlds who'd found something worth more than duty or survival. They'd found home in each other, and in that finding, helped bridge a galaxy. Years later, when their daughter asked about how they met, Marcus and Vela would tell her the truth. About danger and duty, about change and choice, about becoming more than the sum of your worst moments. They'd tell her that love wasn't forgetting the past, but building a future strong enough to outweigh it. And every night, Marcus would look at his family, at the life he'd somehow earned despite everything, and remember David Park. The innocent man whose death had started his transformation. He carried that weight still. Would carry it forever. But now it drove him forward instead of dragging him down. A reminder that every choice mattered, every life had value, every moment offered a chance to be better than before. The quiet human who'd entered that grand hall years ago seeking only to protect had found something far more valuable. He'd found redemption, purpose, and love in the most unexpected place. And in finding it, he'd help bridge worlds, prevent wars, and prove that even the darkest past could forge a brighter future. The princess had chosen him not despite his secrets, but because of what he'd become after facing them. And together they built something the galaxy would remember, not as a story of human exceptionalism, but as proof that change, however difficult, was always possible. That darkness could birth light, if given the chance. That a quiet human could become a hero without ever stopping being human. And that was the most extraordinary thing of all.